Warrack here with the second episode of whatever this is going to be called. No title, vlog, show thing, until someone suggests something better, that's it. Thank you all for watching the first one. I'm just going to be filming whenever I get the time, and I want to go into one of the questions that was asked previously by Marvel Universe Lover. He says, collection vids, question mark, showing your fodder bins, maybe, question mark. So I will show you my collection and fodder bins, but first of all I'm gonna have to tidy up a bit because this is just a frickin' mess. It is just awful. Mess, 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 beautiful. Mess, mess, mess. So yeah, I'm gonna go tidy that up and I'll then see what I can show you. It's probably gonna be, well, I'll go into it once again, but my collection and fodder, there's a very blurry line between the two, but we'll have a look. Well, now it's 2 days later than when I said I was going to tidy my room, and I've actually managed it. So let's take a look at what I've got my setup like now. You're probably familiar with this angle. This is where I do my customizing. I've moved all my paints and smaller fodder pieces over to one area, a paintbrush, Dremel, oh mother shite, over here. And then I used to have another table over here on the left, which I was using for just anything that was overflow from my fodder table. It's now kind of blank, but I set up this trifold cardboard thing in the background. I think I'm going to try and use this space to be a bit to be a bit more focused on taking photos of stuff. So hopefully if I get into dioramas, I can set up a diorama here and take some photos. Encourage me to be a bit more active with ACBA and that kind of thing. Down here, I've had these for a long time. These were my original fodder drawers, so I've never sorted them out. They used to be in order, but they're full of, I mean, it's not all parts that have come off figures, it's just materials that I can use. There's a lot of wood and wire in that one. Clay, stones, resins, straws, pens, and then back to fodder pieces. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on there. That looks to be capes and probably Build-A-Figure parts are in there. Yep, glue guns, things falling over, spray paints, more spray paints and glues, and again, more spray paints. So yeah, that's basically my customizing area. Over here we have, what am I going to call this? We'll call this my fodder bins, I guess. You know, there's a lot of figures in here that probably aren't fodder. You see that there's that Emma Frost I showed last time, and Greedo. A lot of these figures are in perfect condition, or what I would call perfect condition anyway, so you know, if I did want to display them or use them for a photo, I could, but there's a lot in here that are also just foddery things. There's this Deviruman thing that I've cut the hands off. So yeah, I mean, there's everything to me is fodder, to be honest. Even some of my old customs I would consider fodder. I've got, oh, we'll come on to them later. I do have any customs that I don't have on display, I have stored. I may use them for fodder, you know, if I need to use a hand again, I can use that. But yeah, there's really lots of random stuff going on down here. That's the old 90s Toy Biz superheroes. You know, I've got them all there. I probably won't use them for fodder, but they're there if I ever need them. And there's a lot of bases and props and stuff going on in there. Bit too dark, but that's what that is. And behind it I've got all my foam board and big sheets of construction paper, stuff like that. And probably the most major new addition to my room is my Detolf cabinets. I used to have them downstairs in my house, I would display them there, but I've brought them up here just because I feel that I need a more interesting background for videos, number one, but it's also there to kind of remind me what I'm doing and what I'm capable of. You can get a bit lost when you do customizing, you just see like loads of junk shit figures hanging around, but if you actually see, you know, nice things that you're proud of around you, then it kind of spurs you on a bit. So I'll just go through the cabinets. First of all, right up the top we have my Galactus Venom. He's up the top not because he's, you know, my proudest customer or anything, but because he just cannot fit inside. He's just too tall. Then we have here, I'll open the cabinet, and something will fall down. Here I've got my, what I ended up calling my Echoes of the Infinite base. That's all the heroes defeated by Thanos. And Thanos at the front. Annihilus at the back. Dormammu. And the unsinkable Doctor Doom here. Then moving down. The next cube thing is Onslaught up the back. Doctor Strange and Wong, and the eye that I used for my round 3 entry to the ACBA World Championship Tournament. And the Swarm. And my little mini-mate Onslaught to go with his big brother up there. And my ACBA trophy. So this cube's a bit of a, apart from Swarm and the little mini-mate guy, it's kind of the ACBA tournament. My round 3 entry was the one I was most pleased with. And yeah, well, my round 4 entry, you know, that was the final. So I do love that custom, so I've put it back there on display. Next one down is, I guess, my Spider-Man guys. This is where I would have had my Carnage and Spider Carnage custom before I gave them to Michael Wisman. I've got my Flash Venom in his wheelchair with his amputated leg. My Anti-Venom, remember that guy? Disappeared. Classic Venom and the Doppelganger. And I guess that's where the Superior Venom's going to go, but you never know. And up the top of the next one, I've got my Fallen Genosha display, diorama thing. Got the Sentinel head and the Wild Sentinels. The 2 big Sentinels I made. Bastion in his Nimrod sort of form, and Cassandra Nova in the Sentinel hand. So that's the top of that one. Next down I've got my Heir of Apocalypse Archangel. Up the back, Medusa. And the Sentry and the Void. And going down, I've just got Warlock on his own down here. This might be where Superior Venom goes actually, but we'll see. And then down the bottom of both of the cabinets I've got just something that I collect, which is Daleks from Doctor Who. They're as posable as a Dalek comes. They come in lots of different varieties, along with a TARDIS. I just think they're really collectible. I've always really liked Daleks. So, you know, they're quite readily available over here. So I just collect them when I can. I really enjoy them, and I think they look good when they're amassed. So there we go, that's my collection and my fodder bins and my customizing room all tidied up. So thank you for the question, Marvel Universe Lover. I'll get to some more questions in a little while. So I've finished my Superior Venom custom, and I'm just doing probably the hardest part of any custom when you're an ACBA person, taking photos of it. I've got him set up with my Flash Venom here, pouncing on him, or whatever. Got my camera held up by Blue Tack, of all things, taking the photos. So I'd show you the setup. So I twisted the table out, give me a bit more space to work with the camera. Black cloth doesn't reflect the light as much when you take a photo. And that's about it. Okay, so that's me finished my Superior Venom. He's in the case down there and next to Warlock. And I've uploaded the video to YouTube, and I've put the photos on the ACBA group, and tomorrow I guess I'll share it on my own timeline and add some photos to my own custom album. So it's all kicking off, notifications, and it's just really, it's going to sound like a lot of wank, but it's really humbling to see people like your stuff and make comments about it. So yeah, if you are one of those people, thank you. Yeah, it just is really nice, and I mean, you've seen a lot of the work that goes into it and how long it takes. So it's just really, really nice to get positive feedback. So I don't know what's going to be next. You saw me with my Legion custom. I don't know, I'm not feeling that at the moment. I might, now that Venom's out of the way, might get back into the mood for it. Maybe I need to read some more X-Men Legacy comics to get into it again. But I might keep going at that. There's also my diorama stuff that I've got to get started on, or start experimenting with. So I might give that a shot. I'm not very good at juggling things, so I just like to focus on one thing at a time. So I'll just have to decide, or it could be something completely out of the blue. So we'll see. And there's the Spear of Venom in the case with Warlock. Not in there with his venomous brothers, but over here. Gave everyone just a really quick look at what I've picked up today. Just went to the supermarket and up to some sort of really mainstream retailers, toy shops, electronic stores. I picked up these things. Got his Masham's Doctor Doom. I just collect really anything that's Doctor Doom, to be honest, so he's quite quirky, and I do like the design of him, to be honest. He's just quite stylised, cool looking. Would rather Hasbro actually put the Marvel Legends toys on the shelves than these things, but there we are. I got a very small tripod. This is the tripod I normally use, and I've got a larger one down there, but when I was recently taking photos, I found that I was just like laying the camera on the ground and using some blue tack to prop it up. So I've got this really, really small tripod, and that should help me take photos of my figures. Also, on the advice of people from the Dio Structured group, picked up some No More Nails. It's supposed to be really good for bonding the what am I trying to say? Insulation foam. I'm not sure if this is the right stuff. There was loads of different kinds. I don't know. We'll give it a try. See what happens. And I also got these finger lights. I've seen people use them on their ACBA videos. I got like 12 for £2 off eBay. Just search for finger lights if you're interested. They're just little LED lights, and they've got elastic bands on them so you can wear them on your fingers. I just don't really know what they are actually intended for. Are you supposed to rave with them or something? Who knows? They come in different colours. Oh, come on, Craig, do it one-handed. Oh my god, I totally can't. You saw it there. I can't turn it on one-handed. There we go. God, that was pathetic. So yeah, I just thought they'd help. When you have to light something, it's very close to the ground, you have to angle your lamps down the way, all that sort of thing. I thought they'd be useful for that. You easily prop them in directions with blue tack. So I'll give them a shot and see how I get on. And I also got more boxes to put my toys in. Some of them are not in the best boxes. They're sort of too deep. It makes searching through them quite tiresome. And these ones that I got from IKEA are pretty useless actually for searching through stuff. And I've still got ones in cardboard boxes. So I thought I'd get more of these shallow ones that I've got here and spread them out. Might give me a chance to sort of sort out my collection as well. That's probably another 3 days. Okay, toy box is emptied, sorting them out. These are the figures that I think I would consider to be my Marvel collection, I suppose. I've separated out all the broken ones and what have you, so these are the ones that I think are still okay to display, even though I'm not gonna... how long has this been? What is this? 13 years of my life collecting this? Wasted? Who can say? Anyway, that's the guys. So I suppose that's my collection, if you wanted to see it. That is it all organised into boxes. We have 2 boxes of Marvel fodder. We have a box of my Doctor Who collection and a box of my customs that are not displaying. We have 2 boxes of fodder and other figures that are not Marvel. We have 4 boxes of Marvel figures that are good for display, Build-A-Figures in the bottom. And we have a box of bases and environments and a box of 90s figures. And before I forget, this is my, I suppose what I would call my mint on card, but they're not mint by any stretch of the imagination. These are just the figures that I still have in their boxes. That can be because they're like the Star Wars Black Series where they easily go back into their box. So I've got everything they've released so far, except for the San Diego Comic-Con Boba Fett. I'm not too bothered about. You saw me get these guys. So I'm keeping them on card, not really because I want to keep them in pristine condition or anything, just because I can't be bothered opening them at the moment. So we'll have a look at what I've got. Random stuff like Street Fighter add-on. You know I like to collect Doctor Doom stuff. So here he is, that's the Marvel Legends of Doom bot I got at the time. And that's the normal faced actual Doctor Doom. I got Ghost Rider on card a couple of years ago and I just didn't open them, so I've got them there. I randomly have Blackheart from the movie, great coat. So I keep it there because then if I need the coat, I know where to find it. I don't have to go raking through my boxes. And I've also got Transformers Masterpiece Soundwave. Love that figure. Only Transformer I got, had to draw the line. Now, I would normally wear gloves to touch these things, but I also bought some Marvel Universe figures. There was a time when people were having a lot of trouble finding these. Apocalypse and Cable with the baby. So, like, I really don't know if I bought them when I found them. I thought, oh, I could use them for trades or something later. I don't know if they ever became easier to find or not, but there they are. I'm generally against Marvel Universe figures, but when you buy them, they actually do look quite cool, and you think, well, if I had a big collection of those, they might look quite good. But I also got Doctor Doom, of course. I like to collect Doctor Doom, and it's quite a good Doom as well. I do really like it. And got up the back here, we've got the white Doctor Doom and another one, and I've got 4 red Deadpools. Now I know people probably think I'm some kind of scalper, but you know what, I'm not buying these from the shop to then sell them on immediately. I'm investing in these. I've been a Marvel Legends collector since the very beginning, since before it was Marvel Legends, when it was Spider-Man Classics, and I've not really made a profit out of it. So these guys, I'd be a fool not to have recognised. If I could go back in time, I would have bought all the Deadpools from whatever series it was, and I'm not going to make that same mistake again. I'm going to keep as many Deadpools as I can find. I have used a couple of them for trades, but I have to draw the line now. So, and these are the figures that I just generally got when I was buying up the Deadpool's US Agent, great fodder body. I don't know why I got that, it must have been going cheap somewhere. What else have we got? We've got a white Deadpool, got a Jean Grey. Oh, it's a Danny Moonstone. No, it's not. No, it's just the Punisher. And I've got a couple of Archangels up the back. Really cool figure and very useful as well, plain body. But yeah, again, buy them up when I found them. I didn't buy them at a cheap price or anything, so that's just how it is. So I think that's about the end of my Marvel collection. There are a couple more figures that I've got to show you, but they kind of seeg into my the next question I was asked, and that question was from Inventory X. He or she asked me, Would you be interested in using import figures like Figma? They have amazing articulation. So I have bought some import figures. You'll see there's a couple here. There's the Perfect Cell from Dragon Ball Z, and this Wild Tiger from Tiger and Bunny. Now I bought these because they were cheap online all of a sudden, and I just wanted to get a general feel for how useful they would be. I don't have any connection to either of the characters. I know a little bit about this guy. He was in a game I had for my Super Nintendo back in the day. Some form of Dragon Ball Z game. I don't know anything. I've never seen the cartoon. I've lived in Japan for 5 years. I still know nothing about this guy. The cartoon came out, I guess, just after that point where I was sort of interested in what was going on in sort of teen pop culture, and I've actually no idea who this guy is. But I want to get them just to see how useful they would be. In general, like, their articulation is great, but it's very different from what I work with. It's quite brittle. I feel, well, maybe brittle it gives off the wrong connotation. I would say delicate. It is amazing, the articulation, but it is very, I feel, specific to the character. Everything about these toys is very specifically done. So I don't think they are very useful for customs. They tend to be a little bit smaller. I mean, this guy might be quite useful. He does have quite standard articulation, and but they tend, I don't know, they tend to pull apart quite easily. They tend to be a lot of ball and socket joints, which means, you know, if you just press it the wrong way, it pops out. You can pop it back in again. But yeah, so I haven't used any yet, but that doesn't mean I won't consider it in the future. They tend to be a little bit too expensive, and that just scares me off. However, the final part of my collection, which is the final part of my answer to Marvel Universe Lover, who has probably got the longest YouTube answer that's ever been done about my collection, is these guys over here. Now, my husband is very, can I say, heavily interested in video games. That's his, his main hobby, and it's also a thing I'm hugely interested in. Sort of action figures and stuff have tended to, take over my life because I'm more involved in that community. But my husband is really into video games, so these guys, they actually live downstairs in our living room because they're figures that we can both appreciate, and they have meaning for us. So what we've got Link, Rush, Met, Mega Man, Samus. I can't remember this guy's name, sorry, and Pit. So yeah, they live downstairs in the living room, and I think they are amazing figures. Really, really nice. This when I did a video review of this guy, it was the bane of my life because I couldn't get the sword into his hand, and everyone commented, "Ooh, the pommel of the sword comes off." It doesn't fucking come off. Like, it might come off in your one, it doesn't fucking come off in my one. Because still, I'm gonna horrify the internet again when I stretch and bend this guy's fucking hand. It doesn't fucking come off. It doesn't. Am I pulling the wrong bit? Answers on a postcard to Craig Warrack. I don't fucking care. It doesn't fucking come off. Stop commenting that on my fucking Link review. Pissed off with it. Doesn't fucking come off. So there we are. That's my answer to Inventory X. Thanks for the question. It's a very good one. I do have, look at Link's pose. That's crispy, isn't it? That's just awesome. I do have a very strong interest in Japan. I have a degree in Japanese, and it's formed a huge part of my life. But as for their action figures, I'm not I'm not the kind of person who buys every single one. I only buy the characters that I'm interested in, and I'm generally very satisfied with what I get, even though they're a little bit more expensive. I think they're amazing figures. I don't know if I could get into the sort of customizing area of it. I've often thought, oh, I should make a Zelda, or I could make a Shake figure to go with Link, but the art style is so specific, and it's so different from my personal art style. I don't want it to look, you know, when an obviously Western person tries to draw manga or anime style and they just put on big eyes. You know, it doesn't look complete. It looks like a fraud sort of art style, and I don't want that to happen. I've never been able to draw in that style, although I tried in high school so much. I wanted to be able to draw like it. I just can't. My art style is very different. So yeah, that's tends to be why I haven't gone down that route. They just wouldn't fit in. Anyway, thanks for the question, Inventory X, or Inventor YX, or Inventory X. I'm not sure. Anyway, thank you. So basically, because I'm going to be making this diorama, or I'm intending to make this diorama of Doctor Doom's throne room, or some part of Castle Doom, I've come here to the Old Town in Edinburgh. This is the Old Town. You can see there's a prevalence of spires and things. It's a National Trust or a World Trust heritage site, something like that. So maybe there's some sort of engine going on down there. Don't get the wrong impression about where I live. Like, it does have these areas, but this is not what it's mostly like. This is, you know, preserved for historical purposes like this. But anyway, so I've come here because I want to get a look at how sort of castles, you know, the brickwork is done, and well, I'll show you where I am. So this is Edinburgh Castle. This is the castle in the capital city of Scotland, Edinburgh. And I'm not actually going to go inside it because, you know, it's quite expensive to get inside. But I'm just going to come here and take a look at how the bricks are done for research. And also I'm going to be heading down to the city's cathedral, St Giles's Cathedral, because I want to look at how they do pillars. I imagine that a castle like this, the construction would be fairly simple, walls and a roof for the most part. It was never a palace or somewhere where a king or queen would have lived. It was just the centre of the city, and it's situated on this extinct volcano in the centre of the city for defensive reasons. And the city grew from the castle down the slope towards the hills at the bottom. The hills you see in the distance there, that's called Arthur's Seat. Legend has it that King Arthur watched a battle with the Picts there. Of course, it's totally bullshit. But at the bottom of the slope there is where the Palace of Holyrood is. That's where the Queen of the United Kingdom actually lives when she comes to Scotland. Well, lives when she comes to do business in Scotland. So yeah, I'm going to head down the slope to St Giles Cathedral and see the pillars, to see how a bit more of an ornate sort of setup would be. I believe that Doom's throne room, if this is what it's going to be, would be fairly opulent, but kind of unwelcoming. And I think, you know, well, if that's not the Catholic Church, I don't know what is. You know, no matter how sort of beautiful or preserved a place like this is, there's always some shits doing roadworks. Okay, so this is St Giles Cathedral. I don't know any history about it, to be honest. Built in by the Cardinal Balzac. I really have no idea. Anyway, here's something that I wanted to look at, was this sort of cross here, and particularly the statues on it. I mean, these are don't know if the light's very good for you to see. These are stags, heraldic stags, so I just wanted to get a look at them. I don't quite know how I'm going to work that into it, but at least I'm looking at it. It also has these scenes on the side of it telling the story of Santa Claus the movie. That's John Lithgow, and he's sort of eating all those candy canes and floating off into space. Oh, and here's my favourite bit, it's the ballroom scene from Labyrinth. That's quite good. But let's go inside the cathedral itself. We'll probably take a look at the outside first because the door looks quite interesting. A little beyond my foam insulation carving skills though, I feel. Now I'll probably have to be quiet when I go in here. I don't know how yet. Here we are. So, what I was thinking was of stained glass in Doom's Castle. So I'm going to take a look at some of the stained glass around here. I mean, I can obviously find this online, but I want to just get an idea of how it's framed and how high up the wall it is and that kind of thing. I mean, this place is massive. And that's the roof, if I'm going to go that far. What I really wanted to look at was pillars. So looking around the bottom of the pillars. And I wanted to see if they have any lights on the pillars, but it doesn't look like they do. Now this is quite interesting because the, what do we call it, the pulpit or something, is not at the head of the church, neither is the organ, it's in the middle. So that makes me think, would that be an approach Doom would have? Would he be in the middle of the room rather than just up the end of it? Something to think about. And I think that's about it. Flags hanging suspended. Interesting. These are all good ideas, and these are the lights, so they're just suspended from the roof. I'm just going to step into the choir sort of area here and belt out Oops, I Did It Again by Britney Spears, so I'll see you later. So I think I've got enough reference material to sort of get started on there. I don't know when I'm going to have the time to put it into practice, but hopefully I'll keep constantly thinking about the diorama I'm going to make. I do have a lot of ideas, and my next step after researching something is to then sketch it out, not to a sort of finished state, but to the point where I have the ideas set in my head and I'm not second guessing myself while I start creating the diorama essentially. So I'm going to be doing that next, but I guess I'll answer some more questions from the previous episode now. Michael Wisman asks, well, he's got 3 questions. Oh, if you haven't been over to Michael's channel, please do so. He makes wonderful videos like this, much better than this, and it's really his very straightforward, candid approach to sort of ACBA and making these vlogs that sort of, you know, really inspired me to get sort of back into all of this and engage more with YouTube. So Michael's questions, he's got 3. Number 1, with so many custom figure suggestions flooding you, what is the major determinant when choosing your next project? That's a very good question. I don't really have any pattern to what kind of customs I do. Strangely enough, the symbiotes do keep jumping out. I think what my approach to customizing is that I want to have the things that no one else does. Is that a little egotistical perhaps? I want, you know, what if that includes the figures. So I think it would be rare for me to make something like Thanos, for example. But for some reason I didn't really see a lot of Thanos customs out there. I tend to wait some time and see if the character ever gets made, and if it doesn't, and I think the recipe is quite obvious, then I will go ahead and do it. But I don't tend to jump right on a character. But the exceptions have been with the new designs of Venom, with Superior Venom and Anti-Venom and Flash Thompson Venom. I was going to say Flash Gordon Venom. I might do him next. I don't really know why I went with those. Part of me, there's a kind of a trend in customizing where you get people repeatedly making the same sort of customs. They're very popular over and over. So what I wanted to do with my Flash Venom was arrogance ahoy, set the bar quite high at the start. I gave him the alternate heads, alternate hands, the gun that had all the changing magnetic parts, the legs that would come on and off. I wanted to set the bar high at the start so that there wouldn't be that sort of deluge. I felt I was doing the customizing community a favour. I don't know what you think about that. So that, each custom has a different driving sort of force behind it. A lot of the time I really, really love the character. The Medusa and Doctor Strange, Onslaught, the Unthinkable Doctor Doom, Dormammu, Annihilus. They come from stories that I have a real passion for and I'm really, really interested in. And I think that, my understanding, or my understanding, not I'm saying my understanding of the character is perfect. My understanding of the character sort of can translate into that figure somehow, and enhance it. And I hope that shows. So a lot of the answer to what determines my character choice for a custom is quite arty. It's nebulous, hard to pin down, and it depends on my mood. That's a lot of the reason why I stopped taking commissions, was that I got a lot of requests and I wasn't in the mood to make the character. Even though it turned out that some of the customs that I made under commission really helped define my custom style, and they pushed me to try things like alternate heads. So it's all over the place basically, Michael. Question 2. Since that's my local area is so different than typical American cities, does that influence your preference in ACBA world environments? To clarify, when thinking of a display or scene, do you usually have to look up scenes from comics, or do you have a pretty good idea of the environment you want to display? I would say yes. My environment, you've seen some of it in the sort of the videos I've made. It isn't like what you would find in American cities. I feel that my approach to ACBA isn't as contained. I don't know if that's a thing that comes from not being in these cities, or having the knowledge of the atmosphere of these cities, is that to my imagination everything is very clearly defined. If you look at a lot of ACBA, it takes place in an alleyway, a very tight environment, perhaps even the corner of an alleyway. It is very defined. Whereas I feel that my ACBA and the environments that I think about for characters are more open. I'm thinking about my contest entries. The first round was Doctor Doom and his castle, we assume, and it was a corner. That was really the first. That was me scoping out what I could do with a background and everything. And my original idea for it had doors in the background showing places further in the background, perhaps a throne room with Doombots in it or something, but obviously I couldn't achieve that. But then going on, if you look at the second round was the Golden Gate Bridge. The third round was a completely undefined area. It was just the darkness with Doctor Strange's magical Eye of Agamotto spheres floating. And the fourth round was an abstraction of the astral plane, the inside of Xavier's mind, doors and shattering. It was, they are still contained, obviously, because that's the nature of the thing. But when I think of these environments, I think I'm thinking more theatrically than I am thinking practically. I don't really, the Golden Gate Bridge was presented like you would find on a stage, the front and it leading into the background with a false perspective. And even Onslaught's sort of doors floating, they're all facing forward. It's not Street Fighter. The people aren't facing each other. It's all for the benefit of the audience, for the viewer. So my approach to ACBA, whether it's defined by my personal environment, is that it isn't for the benefit of the characters inside. It's not about the reality of the scene. It's that, breaking that fourth wall. They are there for the benefit of the viewer. There we go. Quite wanky. Again, quite wanky, nebulous. And number 3. Any big differences between hobby spray paint and regular spray paints? Now, if you've watched me in any of my video diaries customise anything, it may be quite clear I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. I just try it, and if it works, it works. If I try something once and it works, I stick with it. Like with my Milliput, I tried it once, it worked. I didn't go out and try multiple things and then say which of these is best. I just go with the first thing that works. And for me, the hobby paints worked, so I never did the regular spray paint. So there we are, Michael. Hope that answers your questions. Thank you. Those were good ones. Got me thinking. Another question from the Mediocrity Rules 23. When will you begin work on my Emma Frost figure? He says. The answer is never. Let's take that. Actually, that question is asked in jest, of course. The Mediocrity Rules 23 is... he chats to me a lot, and he actually, God bless his heart, he sent me this as a Christmas card. So, thank you very much for this robot stringing Christmas lights together, Ollie. Thank you. Much appreciated. The Iron War Machine has asked a quick question. What's the base body of your Venom custom? I have quite a few. Flash Thompson Venom is was it a Shield agent or the face-off Punisher. Classic Venom was the Tick figure. Anti-Venom was Marvel Legends Blackheart, and Superior Venom is a whole bunch of stuff. I go through it in the video for that, so I check out the videos for each of those guys to find out exactly what goes into the recipe. And just picking up on a couple of points from another post from Rectangular, please go check out his channel as well. He does a lot of haul videos and very good insights into ACBA, that sort of thing. That's Rectangular with a K. Not Kectangular, but R-E-K-tangular, Rectangular, K. So he said that I got Boba Fett for £22, which was too much. Probably if you do the currency conversion back to dollars, that does seem a lot. But what were we looking at? For the Iron Man Legends, Iron Man 2 Legends thing, the Ultron and that, they were in Toys R Us for $19.99, and the Star Wars Black Series is $19.99. So £22 is, it's a bit of a markup on what probably the recommended retail price is, but it really, a pound or two either way isn't a deal breaker for me. Everything here is just so much more expensive across the board. Everything is just more expensive. That's just the way we live with it, and I think that's why action figures probably they struggle a lot in this country, and why we only get the pocket money versions. The really reduced articulation. They're the things that only seem to sell, given the economic climate and all that. I just don't know what happened after the end of the Toy Biz Marvel Legends fight. It just plummeted so bad. Maybe the timing with the global economy. And he said that he liked my Clash of the Titans t-shirt, so thank you very much. On that point, it said, I don't know, welcome to Joppa or something. Joppa was one of the locations in the movie Clash of the Titans in Greece. And actually Joppa is the area of Edinburgh that I live in. A lot of the areas are named after places in continental Europe around here. And where I live is Joppa. So when I saw the t-shirt, welcome to Joppa, with, you know, one of my favourite movies, well, I think it's one of my favourite movies, not all that great, Clash of the Titans on it, you know, I just had to buy it. So thanks for noticing that, Todd Rectangular. Monetism? Monetism? I can't pronounce it, sorry. The Quicksilver head is too big for the body you're using, but nice vlog. So he's talking about, of course, this guy, my Legion. So yeah, he's saying that the head is too big. Fair criticism. We'll see what happens eventually. It's obviously a work in progress. In case you know, he doesn't have any arms or legs either, so things may change as it goes on. But it certainly made me look at it again. His head is probably going to be enormous. His hair is going to go up to there anyway. But yeah, thanks for looking so closely and caring enough. Thank you. And finally, C Dealers or CD Ealers. Why can I not pronounce anyone's YouTube name? What is going on? C Dealers says, people who ask what you're doing are stalkers. Well, quite. They are indeed stalkers. And I love every one of my stalkers so wrongly. Yes, they are. But Mr. C Dealers, who is calling other people stalkers, you're actually using one of my custom figure photos as your profile picture. Who's the stalker now, sir? Anyway, yes, thank you. Thank you for everyone that commented, for everyone that suggested a name for my video. I haven't chosen one yet, can't come up with anything myself. Pointless. Too busy thinking of a load of pretentious wank to talk about in videos. But yeah, thank you very much. I guess I'll just stick this up online, and same applies. Share, like, subscribe, and any questions you have about anything, put them in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, before I go, I just found out yesterday that I'm going to have to start looking for a new place to live. My landlady wants to sell this wonderful house that I'm living at the moment, so who knows how much I'm going to be able to actually do with customs and dioramas and all that. But hopefully I can juggle work and my personal life and looking for a new flat, and also satisfying my YouTube stalkers. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, whenever that may be. Bye.